Make sure your phones are. Aziza.
I'm sorry, but one of the mothers, her child fell.
Oh. Can we start?
Yes, we can start.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the Ahmadiyya Women's Auxiliary of Baltimore for welcoming us here today. Thank you for welcoming Turnaround. For those who don't know, Turnaround is a Metro Baltimore's rape crisis center for survivors of domestic, intimate partner violence, and human trafficking. Thank you for welcoming the fourth week of 7 weeks of giving campaign. As our conversation yesterday, Aziza, you asked me what it is. It is really to raise awareness about the works of Turnaround, how we can arm ourselves, what are the services that Turnaround provides the community, and at the same time, we are trying to raise funds to continue the incredible services that Turnaround provides. Before I really go further, I would like to really share with you a short story how I met our host today. I think we've known each other almost 10 years, and it's been really such a wonderful, I call her my sister. The fourth week is really geared for Helpline. One of the things that really stood out with me in my association with our host today, one time I got a phone call from Baltimore County government that someone was looking for me because there's this woman from Saudi Arabia who needs help tremendously. She came here to seek medical help at Hopkins, but for some reason, it did not really work. She really saved all her money to get medical treatment, but the things that happened did not really work. So she was looking for help, and I was with the Commission for Women at the time. So she saw my name and she thought I can help her. So I tried to think, how can I do this? Normally, we don't really try to do that kind of help within Baltimore County. So I called Aziza, and of course, being the stalwart for women, for Muslim women that Aziza is, and just women in general, she really helped this woman. Aziza's husband is a neurosurgeon in Northwest Hospital, and between the two of them and the community, they were able to facilitate the help, medical help that this woman needs. And not just here, but back in Saudi Arabia, they really continued and connected her so that she can go back to her city and be able to seek medical help. I think this woman, young woman, I think she's in her 20s, she's leading a very productive life now. I think she got married. And I just want to really share that with you because being in the fourth week talking about Helpline, that woman called because she knows my name. With Turnaround, we're open 24/7 to the whole year. You don't need to know anyone. You can make phone call anytime. So I want to emphasize that Turnaround is here for we're very lucky here in the Metro Baltimore for anyone needing help. We can have that. So with all of that, I would like to really personally to thank Aziza Khan for listening the Ahmadiyya Mosque to us here in Baltimore. And I would like to now introduce to you a very good friend of mine, Aziza.
Hello, my name is Aziza Khan, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to host this event. And I'm very, very lucky and very blessed that we are amongst a great deal of women who are very, very honorable women and trying to do good things. And I thank you so much for that introduction, Bella. And you do a lot of good work. And I want to say, first of all, before I, continue explaining who we are as the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, I wanted to say thank you so much to Senator Shelley Hettleman for being here. It's an honor for us and for all of our elected officials that are here. It's an honor for us to have a woman on woman program. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about our community. And I wanted to say the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. We are Muslims who believe in the Messiah. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, peace be upon him, from 1835 to 1908 of Qadian, which is in India. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad founded the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in 1889 as a revival movement within Islam, emphasizing its essential teachings of peace, love, justice, and sanctity of life. Today, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is the world's largest Islamic community under one divinely appointed leader. His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may God be his helper, and, born in 1950. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community spans over 200 nations with membership exceeding tens of millions. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad claimed to be the metaphorical second coming of Jesus Christ and the Mahdi, whose advent Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and blessings of Allah be on him, had already foretold. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community believes that God sent Mirza Ghulam Ahmad to end religious wars, condemn bloodshed, and restore morality, justice, and peace. He reformed the Muslims of fanatical and beliefs and practices by vigorously championing Islam's true teachings. So he took us back to the original teachings of Islam. He also recognized the noble teachings of the great religious founders and saints, including Zoroaster, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Krishna, Buddha, Confucius, Lao Tzu, and Guru Nanak, and explained how their original teachings converge into true Islam. So we have a strong belief that all religious teachings from the very beginning of its origins are a reflection of true Islam. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community is the leading Islamic organization to categorically reject terrorism. Over a century ago, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad emphatically declared that the jihad by the sword has no place in Islam. He instead taught Muslims to follow the Quran and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, his example, and defend Islam with a bloodless intellectual jihad of the pen. Accordingly, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad penned over 80 books and tens of thousands of letters, delivered hundreds of lectures, and engaged in scores of public debates. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community continues to use education to peacefully reform Muslims and revive Islam worldwide. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad reminded Muslims of God's promise to safeguard Islam through Khilafat, which is a spiritual institution of successorship to prophethood. And as was mentioned earlier, we're on our fifth Khalifa. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community believes that only Islamic Khilafat can peacefully unite humanity. 5 Khalifas have succeeded Mirza Ghulam Ahmad since his demise. 4. The current Khalifa, Mirza Masroor Ahmad, resides in the United Kingdom and serves as the community's spiritual and administrative head. Under the leadership of Khilafat, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has built over 16,000 mosques, 600 schools, and 30 hospitals. It has translated the Holy Quran into over 70 languages. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community propagates Islam's true teachings of peace and tolerance through a 24-hour satellite television channel, which is called MTA, the internet. And if you want to go online, it's www.alislam.org. And print Islam International Publications. It stands at the forefront of disaster relief worldwide through Humanity First and non-profit charity. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community is the only Islamic organization to endorse the separation of mosque and state. Despite facing bitter faith-based persecution in numerous Muslim-majority nations, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community continues to advocate for universal human rights for all religious and other persecuted minorities. It likewise invests heavily in women's equality, education, and empowerment programs. Its members are among the most law-abiding, educated, and engaged Muslims in the world. In addition to this, I would like to mention that local Women's Auxiliary of Baltimore have been and are in the forefront of social services. We were there helping out in the aftermath of the riots in Baltimore after the sad demise of Freddie Gray. Our women would take food um, to the senior house, to the senior center, which was behind the CVS pharmacy, which had been burnt down. And at that time, there were blockades and it was very difficult. But on a regular basis, we delivered to the senior citizen center. Where there is a need, we are there. Whether it's in a homeless shelters, whether it's a need for women in our own community that need help, or whether it's financial issues, we are there to help and we serve. During the COVID crisis, we had gotten about 21 gift cards, and we spread them out within the Latino community. There were $100 each for them to buy groceries. And instead of that, in addition to that, we made COVID packages for people, and we sent them to my sister's place. We are associated with a lot of the charitable organizations here, as well as when we go to the park on Fairmount Avenue in the city, and we go and help the homeless and take care of them, and we do the best that we can as an organization. So we're always there, and if anybody needs us, let us know. We're there to help. Thank you so much. Very good.
Thank you so much for having turnarounds this evening. I just want to second, thank you, Bella. The second Bella's words. Thank you for your hospitality. I want to say a special thank you to Ms. Aziza Khan for the amazing generosity and giving us the space this evening. I have the very great honor of introducing Senator Shelley Hettleman this evening, who I met many years ago as a mother. I was trying to figure out exactly when, the year that we met, and I don't remember. I only do things as a mom, you know, where you're trying to remember. I know it was between this child and that child, so I know it was so many years ago. It was between Ben and Lucy, so it was somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago. But I remember the first meeting. I was a prosecutor, and Senator Hettleman was a delegate, and she was interested in issues related to the issues that we were talking about today. And she showed so much grace and really listened to what I had to say, which as a young prosecutor meant so much. And so that respect that she showed for me, I know she shows for so many of her constituents. And I am abundantly grateful for her in that way. She is a dedicated public servant who is passionate about issues that pertain to women and making sure that women not only have equality, but are able to rise up in our community. She introduced many bills over her career in Annapolis, but two of them in particular I helped work on last year, which I am grateful for, SB 43 and SB 484. And so I will simply say that I am profoundly thankful that she is the representative for Baltimore County in Annapolis, and you are an absolute jewel among many, Senator Henningsen, so thank you so much. And with that, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I really appreciate your kind words. Thank you so much for having me and for having all of us. Mrs. Aziza Khan, we met many years ago also. And you were my neighbor for a while. Literally, I could walk to the mosque in my district, in District 11. And one of the things that strikes me, and I remember at the time, was this is an area of the county that is pretty much a center of the Jewish community. And here was a mosque that was coming in the middle of a number of synagogues in the area. And there were discussions, and there was really warmth and great, I hope you felt it, welcoming by the community. And I'm sorry that you didn't stay longer, but
we absolutely loved it, and we were totally welcomed in every way. We had a great relationship. We could even park our car to the Hebrew, I think, Baltimore Hebrew, and they allowed us to park the cars there whenever we had an event. And I made very good friends there, along with some of our women that are from the Mosque in the Park Heights area. And it was quite an honor. I wanted to let you know this because the reason we left is because the population was increasing in our mosque and we needed a larger place.
I know. But it was wonderful to be able to represent the community. community too. This is still part of my district. I hope it will continue to be my district as we head into our next legislative session when we're doing redistricting. So thank you for your warmth and hospitality. I want to thank Bella Owens. We met many years ago too when I was first elected, and your involvement in the Commission for Women and now in Turnaround, it's really incredible. As Amanda said, I have been involved in women's issues for many, many years. You think about your children and kind of when they're markers for you, and I do as well in terms of my career. I gave birth to my daughter 26 years ago, the same year that the Jewish community gave birth to a domestic violence program. And I was the director. I was the first director of that domestic violence program called Hana. It has since grown. We started out with a helpline and legal services and a safe house and a big volunteer component. And it has unfortunately grown and morphed to meet the needs of the community in partnership with the House of Ruth and with Jewish Community Services, and now provides services to older adults and also to children and a lot of education in the community. And I'm sure works closely with Turnaround too. It's a small world of people who are doing this kind of work. And I want to thank all of the people here who are on staff at Turnaround for all of the work that you do every day, because it is so important. Unfortunately, too many systems in our government seem to be stacked against women and seem to be stacked against women who are in need, and especially women who are in dangerous relationships and women who are trafficked. I now, as a legislator, help to try to change the laws so that they are more fair and are more just, so that people can get justice and get the help that they need. So I thank you for coming here today to learn about the kinds of services that Turnaround provides to the community, and to be our ambassadors out into the community to share with like-minded people, to be aware that these services exist and that there is help available when people need the help. The other thing that's really important is that I know, as somebody who helped to start a program that was really focused on the Jewish community, that there are special needs of people in different faith communities, and that the general community may not fully appreciate. So you can be those partners to really understand what it is that is facing a Muslim woman who is in a relationship or needs help, and you can help to provide that kind of particular and tailored assistance to help people understand what the special needs are of a Muslim woman who's in this situation. So thank you for being here, for your willingness to learn, to be open, and I love the love for all, hatred for none is really such a wonderful message to carry forward into the world. So just thank you so much for being here, for your hospitality, and for being so welcoming.
Thank you.
So now I have the privilege of introducing Turnaround's Deputy Director, Rachel Sy. When I took over as Executive Director at Turnaround, there was no doubt in my mind as who I wanted to be the person standing next to me as Deputy Director, and really helping me co-lead this organization. It is extremely important to me to have not only someone that I can trust, but I read a lot before I became Executive Director, and one of the things that I read that stuck with me was you need to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, and that is absolutely true with the person sitting next to me. The other thing that I will say is that Rachel absolutely embodies the three pillars, the three values that are core to what Turnaround is. Rachel is the most empathetic person that I know. She thrives on empowering others, and she believes strongly in her community, and that shines in everything that she does. The other thing that I always say about Rachel is that she would be the person that I want next to me in a crisis. And I knew that before COVID, and then during COVID, that became more abundantly clear, which is the reason that when she took over the role that she has now and started overseeing our crisis response, that I knew that she would not only provide good care for those that were in the greatest need in our community, but that our community was in the very best hands that it possibly could be. She put together the Amplified Response Model, which is the first of its kind in the state. It took an enormous amount of work, and with the help of her other team members that are here, Sherelle and Brandy, I am so proud to say that we have not just a good helpline, we have one of the best helplines and best responses, a best practice that is taken out of research. And then we spend so much time in making sure that every survivor that comes through our door is treated with respect, is treated the way that they should be, and is made sure that they can then connect with the services that come next in their healing. And so I am very proud to now introduce Ms. Rachel Slack.
Thank you, Amanda. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rachel Stein. I'm Deputy Director at Turnaround, and I'm here tonight just to talk with you a little bit about one of our agency services, which is our helpline. So Turnaround operates a 24-hour helpline that is accessible 365 days a year. And for many victims and survivors of sexual violence, intimate partner violence, and human trafficking, the helpline is not just another number to call. It literally operates as a lifeline for many of those survivors. A lifeline that can promote safety, as well as foster a future where they can flourish. And as Amanda mentioned, I certainly do not do this work alone. It takes an incredible team. I will also say the names of some of our crisis response team members who are here today. Sherelle Peterson, who is our program manager for crisis response, and Brandy, who is one of our crisis response team members. They also don't do the work alone. There are other incredible staff who are also a part of this team who operate our helpline. And so these dedicated team members respond to incoming calls from survivors every day. So during the COVID pandemic, our helpline call volume increased astronomically. Pretty overwhelming at times, increasing to over 150% above what we normally receive prior to COVID. And so during COVID, we were under certain mandates. And so the stay-at-home mandates and lockdowns during the COVID time at the beginning were implemented to promote safety from the virus. But this practice placed many victims and survivors at a higher risk of abuse. So the mandate unintentionally created isolation, a sense of hopelessness and desperation, creating a barrier for some survivors to just simply be able to pick up a phone and call our helpline. And we saw this desperation and received a Facebook message from a survivor who was desperately reaching out for help, trying to flee from their abuser, who was also at home with them during that time. And so because of this example, we expanded our helpline to be even more accessible by adding a text line number. And we will continue to be innovative to ensure that survivors will always be able to access the help when they need it. So our monthly calls to the helpline have since stabilized some, but we continue to receive over 200 calls to our helpline each month. 200 calls to our helpline or more each and every month. And so I don't know about you, but the thought of receiving over 200 calls each month is unconscionable, especially when we know that we are receiving these calls because someone has been victimized or abused. But we also know, unfortunately, that there are many more victims and survivors out there that are being abused that have yet to reach out and make that call. And so it's not about the numbers. So no matter what the amount, we are here and we will continue to answer each and every call. We will answer that call from the survivor who is scared about contemplating the right time to leave that abusive relationship, or from the parent who is hearing for the first time that their child has been abused and they're not sure what to do. We will answer that call, yes, from the male survivor who feels societal shame because they can't tell anyone that they're being abused by their spouse. Or from the survivor who has been abused years ago and they're still struggling with nightmares and flashbacks. We are here and will respond to every call from all victims and survivors to ensure that they are receiving support, options, and resources that they need to be able to take that next step where they are free from these abuses. And so we thank everyone who is here today to support the continued work of our helpline. We thank Ms. Aziza Khan and the Ahmadiyya community for hosting us today and for sharing especially your message about peace, love, justice, and humanity. A powerful message, and the same things that we want for our survivors as well. So we are joined in that effort. And so we're asking you to take a step and join us too. Those of you who are out there, everyone can do one thing. Tell one person, make one call, one social media post, or letting your friends know about Turnaround and how to support survivors. So thank you for hosting us. Thank you for this event. Thank you for listening. And we hope that you will take the opportunity to support this work. And we thank you for your support in advance. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm G. Henningsen. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives with Turnaround. I don't think I could say it better than Rachel just said it. Well, we are so grateful. Thank you to Ms. Aziza Khan and to the entire community for welcoming us into your space and for joining us, for those who were able to come out and join tonight. We do have, if anyone would like to take any turnaround items, there's, items on the side there you're more than welcome to take. And learn. So there's some more fact cards and informational brochures over there. And yeah, we're just really excited to be here for Helpline Week, and we hope that we continue to have a relationship with this wonderful community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.